There we go. What's going on, y'all? This is your boy Gerald Lucas here. I got special guest Fabian Renkel filling in for Ty Fisher. We're going to going over the recap of the Tigres game for CONCACAF Champions Cup, as well as recapping the Real Salt Lake and previewing the Portland Timbers match and going over some other things as well. Stay tuned. Welcome back to another edition of the Wisemen Say podcast. I am Gerald Lucas, and I got Fabian Renkel filling in for Tyler Fisher. Fabian, how you doing?
What's up? Hey, how's it going, everybody? Thanks for having me on. It's a true honor to be here and talk some Columbus. I had to bust out a jersey, the one right behind me over here. But yeah, so I got love for Columbus, and I'm always watching their games, and I think they can make all of MLS proud in this next coming weeks.
So let's jump right into this. Columbus Crew took on Tigres in the Champions Cup last week. And where we at? And it was a 1-1 draw going into PKs with Columbus coming out on top. What are your takes from that?
Yeah, look, a hard-fought game, a game that, once Schulte kind of gave up that goal to Gignac, I thought, oh, here we go again. Here is the Liga MX teams getting these gifted goals, and MLS is still behind Liga MX, right? But the resilience of the team and of the squad to not give up, to not let that, totally get out of hand, and then for them to go ahead and score late and get a chance of winning the game. It shows a lot about this team, and rightfully so. I mean, they are the MLS Cup champions. So a lot of people do forget that at times with the whole Inter Miami circus going on, including, maybe myself, right? Maybe I'd be tweeting a lot about Miami when in reality, Columbus is the best team in MLS, and MLS fans should recognize that Columbus does have the best chance to win this CONCACAF Champions Cup. And now that is evident with them going up against Monterrey. And I think they're going to make us proud. I really do. I think we're going to get something that we saw in League's Cup where we might get America Columbus. So
I'm looking for that rematch. But you touched on it a little bit. Gignac got a goal off of a mental mistake by Patrick, trying to go back across his body with the ball and just side swipes it. So Crew go down 1-0 first half. Diego Rossi, is he back?
Hey, Diego Rossi, has 2 goals, and those 2 goals are in the best games that they could use them, right? So shoot, if he's not back now, I don't think he'll ever be back, right? So I think he's had a great opportunity to come to show up in those big moments, and he did. So definitely they can use some of that in MLS play eventually. But for now, I think every fan in Columbus and around MLS will be happy that he's scoring goals in CONCACAF instead of MLS play.
So Crew faced Tigres without Cucho. They get him back for leg 2. How big was seeing him out there, down there in Monterrey, taking on Tigres? Big for Columbus, you think?
Yeah, I mean, imagine the one guy who is the, focal point of this team. And I know Nancy doesn't like to say it, but it's the truth, right? I mean, ever since Zalarayan left, Cucho's kind of taken that role over. I mean, he's taken that role of being the provider and the goal scorer for this team. And to be honest, he's, like Nancy said today, he's the first defender in his system. So it starts with Cucho and it ends with Cucho, right? So yes, this is a very, very good team. But when you don't have a good, you don't have your leader out there, your best player, of course, it's normal. Everybody's human, right? Imagine going to a job interview and your hair is not perfect, right? You're going to feel some type of way. So having Cucho in the squad really, really transformed this team, even if they don't like to admit it.
So, you touched a little bit about, Nazi saying He's the first, defender and the last attacker, right? Which is true. But Nazi also likes to pride himself on having the team be limitless, right? So I mean, you see him talk about the resilience and the team never gives up. It's crazy because it's just the small things make the bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
He's always talking about how you could play well with the ball, but how can you play? How do you play without the ball? And he loves how the team plays without the ball.
Yeah.
But he also likes the possession as well. So you see, Tigres was honestly, in my opinion, as a Crew fan, as well as a beat writer for the Crew, I was nervous, right?
Deservedly so. I mean, it's Tigres, right? We're talking about the same team that's rolled out there for like 4 or 5 years now, right?
So I mean, it like honestly scared me, going into that second half. Like, all right, Columbus is down 1-0, but nobody panicked, right?
Right.
There was no panic in that second half. Diego gets that goal, and it's like, so they might actually have a chance, to win it in regular time. But I tell you, it just is like, they once they got that first goal, they didn't give off. They didn't let off the gas, right?
Right.
It goes to full 90. I wish there was extra time because we all know how Columbus is when it comes to extra time. Just ask FC Cincinnati. But straight to the PK, Schulte stops Gignac.
Yeah.
How big was that?
Yeah. I mean, I was audibly loud at my own home. I mean, it was like, I that sets the tone, right? I mean, this young player who, yeah, he's gotten a call up for the U.S. So he's not a scrub. I mean, he just won MLS Cup. Blocks maybe the best goal scorer Liga MX ever has had, right? So this is something where you're setting the tone already. And man, oh man, if I'm juiced in my living room, I can't imagine the players going up to take a PK after knowing that your goalie stopped maybe the best striker ever in Liga MX.
I mean, so if you look at Patrick Schulte's accomplishments, right? MLS Next Pro champion his first year in the history of Next Pro, right?
Yeah.
Goalkeeper of the year that year. Following year, he gets thrown into the limelight, with Eloy Room going down, to being out for like the first game. He gets thrown in there against Philly. They get rid of Room. Now he's the main keeper, right?
Yeah.
Wins MLS Cup his first year up there on the first team. Now he has a chance in his second year to go to the CONCACAF finals at, getting by, Monterrey and go to the CONCACAF finals in his second year. Like, what does that do for a player's mental, right? How does that affect them? Like,
he's on top of the world. I mean, at that point, you have to go somewhere else, right? At that point, you have to test yourself. I think, in my opinion.
I mean, I would think so, but I hope he doesn't go anywhere anytime soon. But it's just crazy that you have that. Like, you just see how Nancy's system sets up players to bring out the best.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Schulte is a star in this league, whether you like it or not, and will continue to be a star in this league, even if he makes mistakes, because then he has the resilience to kind of forget about it, and he's a pro. So, no, I think he's a great player, and I think he's up there. I mean, he's definitely in the top 10 of goalkeepers, and there's some good goalkeepers, right? So, we maybe top 5 is a little close, but I would say top 10.
Do you think he gets over, too overshadowed by like Maxime Crepeau and Sean Johnson and Drake Callender?
I would say he's in that tier. He's with those. Of course, I mean, let's name them right. Lloris, Berkey. I would even throw Gallese maybe ahead. Uh, I think those three right there are gonna be in the conversation no matter what. So those last two spots, who do you give them to? Right? Do you give them to? I mean, Celentano just won goalkeeper of the year last year, so I guess you have to put him there. I mean, uh, and then you have the fifth spot, right? Who do you put in that fifth spot? And I still like Kripo. I think he's a great goalkeeper. St. Clair, another guy who plays for Canada as well. So I think Schulte is a solid 6 through 10. I think that can be argued for sure.
So then, we go to PKs against Tigres, and Schulte stops Zinyak, and now it comes down to the final player for Columbus to win it, Mr. Max Arfstead. So, Nazi was also asked about, who decided the lineup, and I can't remember exactly how he said it, but he let the players decide.
Yeah.
And, you could tell it was like Kucha saw the opportunity to, for him to be the one to end it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But nonetheless, his shot got, stopped. And now it was in the hands of Max Arfstead. So we did ask Max, I think last week, afterwards, when he stepped up and he took it, and the reason why he just was sitting there looking around and shrugged his shoulders, he said the ref came up to him before he took the kick and said that don't celebrate until I blow my whistle. So a lot of fans thought we were going to get, Columbus was going to get CONCACAF. There was something wrong, whatever. But that's why he just looked around after he scored and was looking around, and then he was like, the ref took too long to blow his whistle.
Yeah.
Right. But that's and then celebrated with the team. But how big has Max you have followed Max a while.
Yeah. I would say so.
He's came up with some big, big time goals for Columbus, in certain spots. What's that, PK win with him being the deciding, one do for his morale and his state?
Yeah, look, I mean, you go from being an MLS Next Pro player to next year knocking out Tigres in a quarterfinal of CONCACAF Champions Cup, right? Like, come on. I mean, like MLS Next Pro is a great system and it gives opportunity to other guys, but man, like you wrote yourself into the MLS history books with that one because it was the first MLS team to ever knock out a team from Mexico, right? In Mexico. So it's something where shocking. I mean, I to be honest, I kind of like was worried because I was like, shoot, Kucha just missed. Now here we go. Like the guy who I covered since, that was so young as an MLS Next Pro player. I was like, no, can't be, like I was worried for him, like almost as like a old buddy of his or something. But I was like, nah, I think he got it. I think he got it. And I honestly like that he didn't celebrate because it kind of makes it a little colder. It makes it kind of like, oh man, I've been doing this all knocking out a team in their own city with 60,000 around. It's nice. It's pretty cold. So I kind of like that he didn't celebrate because we don't need to because it's like it's a clockwork, right? So a big moment for such a young player, and he took advantage of it, and he delivered. So really cool to see because it was somebody that deserved a shot in MLS. And a lot of times some of these players get stuck in MLS Next Pro or they don't get a full shot. And ever since, Nancy gave him a chance by drafting him and kind of being about him since day one, it's pretty cool to see a kid go through a pipeline and get rewarded and become a part of the history books for Columbus and MLS. So, it's a really cool moment. I bet he's feeling on top of the world now. I mean, he started last game, right? It was a rotation, yes, but still, I mean, getting some starts in. I remember speaking to Max in the offseason about, Julian Gressel's spot opening up because he's going over to Miami. And Max was looking to make the opportunity. And at the time, Farsi had some rumors going on too. And I mean, Max was just ready for whatever position and whatever is asked of him. And that's honestly the best mentality to have as a young player. And what was asked for him of that night was to, knock out a Mexican giant. When your best player, your front man just missed, which is wild, just wild.
So now Columbus is the only MLS team. What does that say for the league that shows that, the gap between Liga MX and MLS?
Yeah, look, I mean, I was expecting maybe a semifinal with two MLS teams, a semifinal that maybe had Inter Miami versus Columbus, right? I don't know, man. I really thought this could be a year where MLS really does make a difference in CONCACAF, and it just didn't turn out that way. I mean, Columbus is there, and deservedly so. And if they do make the final and they win, man, this would have been this is the craziest run. I mean, you knock out Monterrey, or you will have to Tigres, Monterrey, and America most likely, which is wild to think if an MLS team can do that. Because if I'm not mistaken, Seattle maybe got there without beating one of the Giants or having to face one of those teams. So I don't know. I was thinking about the Miami loss the other day, and I was like, well, LAFC was at home against Leon, and they lost. And it was just like I was at that game, so it kind of didn't hit me the gravity of that loss. Like I should have been way more down for the league because in reality they should have won that game, and LAFC lost another final later that year to Columbus too. So it was just like, oh man, like MLS is so close and is on that doorstep. But man, I think Messi and Inter Miami brought a different level from Liga MX squads. I think a lot of those teams now want to give MLS all they got. I mean, it's like they lit a fire under the Liga MX teams too. Like look at America, like getting 9-1 on aggregate against the Revolution, right? Like Jesus, like.
But let's. New England is not really that. Honestly, in my opinion, is not really that good.
No, I agree with you, but man, if you could send a message, they are right. We haven't seen an MLS win like that, right? They haven't been that dominant where you don't even want to watch the game, right? So
yeah,
I think we're close. I think we're getting real close, and I'm starting to think that everybody said that Leagues Cup not being in Mexico was not a valid kind of tourney, and I'm seeing that firsthand because if Messi couldn't do anything in Monterrey, then we are really, really fumbling Leagues Cup in terms of building credibility of that tournament too, right? I mean, it should be in Mexico. This year should have been all in Mexico, not in the United States. And then you could have some sort of credibility that okay, who won this year, who won it that year, and I think that needs to come eventually. But yeah, it's definitely evident that Mexican teams play a lot better at home. And it's definitely evident that they still are ahead of MLS. You get these one-off teams like Columbus, Seattle, LAFC, where they do have a chance of making history, but it's not the average. It's not the trend. It's more of these outliers.
So if Columbus gets by Monterrey, it'll probably be Club America in the final. I'm looking for that. Last time they played Columbus, it was a 4-2 win, I believe, in Leagues Cup play on the day that Lucas LRI got sent over to Saudi Arabia, which was a heartfelt day that day. And I think Columbus just came out in a different gear, against them.
Yeah.
So you leave one altitude at 1,700 feet above sea level, and now you go up to Real Salt Lake, which is like 4,400, above sea level.
Yeah.
And they're taking on, I think, who's the front runner right now in Chicho Arango. for the MVP.
Yeah.
And Diego Luna, who's been hot, right? And Real Salt Lake came out honestly on fire. You could tell Columbus was sort of struggling at first, just because of the altitude changes, but Chicho Arango should have had at least a hat trick, honestly.
Yeah, and it's probably also noted that I think everybody watching this knows it was a heavily rotated squad, right? It was a squad that didn't feature name stages. So for Columbus to get some sort of point, it's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, there was a couple chances there in the first half where Chicho Arango was set up, but the ball was played late. Like he had, good chances, but it just didn't get there on time. And, honestly, he should have had, like I said, a hat trick.
Yeah.
With all the chances that he got. But nonetheless, in the first half, Columbus weathered the storm at Real Salt Lake. We did see backup keeper Evan Bush that did get to start, to give Schulte rest. He ended up getting injured on, I forget which one it was, but Nicholas Hagen came in.
Yeah.
And, the Guatemalan, keeper he showed why his national team calls him up all the time.
Yeah.
He really honestly kept Columbus in the game after Evan Bush went down. Not taking away anything from some of the other players, but you could tell the wear and tear of all the traveling that Columbus had been doing.
Yeah.
War on the body, right? You talked about some of the players that, were sitting down. Darlington Nagby's, consecutive starting streak ended. You as Crew fans, you would love for him to see that streak still going, but at the same time, you got to have a rest.
Yeah.
You've been going 90 minutes nonstop since the season started. Take a seat, take a rest. Let this man breathe and eat some Wheaties, for God's sake.
Let him rest. Let him rest.
Yeah. Schulte got a rest as well. Some of the other, stars,
Cucho got a rest, I believe.
I believe no.
At least at the start, right?
No, Cucho, I think so. No, Cucho was out due to the red card.
Oh, that's right. Well, I guess you got to rest.
Yeah, the red card he got for DC United. So he was out. You got young star Taha Bruno got his first start.
Yeah.
In MLS. He got some playing time last year in the Open Cup when Columbus took on the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, but gets his first MLS start. And we spoke with him today, and he was asked if when he found out that he was starting. And he said he found out the day after the Tigres match. And he was also asked if, once he found out if he, let his family know. And he said no. He let them find out on Instagram the day of the match that he was getting the start. So, yeah, and then he just goes into talk about how he would, how people were evaluating his performance off of Saturday. But in the game, there was a chance that that the ball just came off of his foot in the first touch, that it could have broken up the scoreboard and put a Crew up 1-0.
Yeah.
Like it just I forget who laid the pass into him, but what's your take on Taha?
Yeah, look, I truly think it's such a remarkable thing because if I'm not mistaken, he was the second youngest player to ever start a match for the Columbus Crew. I think MLS put that out, and honestly, the Crew have such a good pipeline that I think they can bring a guy in like that and truly make a difference. So finding out you're starting on Instagram is wild. I mean, it's something that he'll never forget and something that he shared right to all the media. But yeah, I truly think it's your first start. You can't have the expectations too high. You got the clean sheet. You were close to maybe having one on the scoreboard. But you had a good job. You got the job done. You got a point on the road against a very, very good team with an MVP candidate, right? So no, I think he did a great job, and he has a great future with the Crew. And I think that's evident with all the next pros guys that they've always had. So it's cool that Nancy really trusts these guys to, start them right away, right? So it's cool to see. It's really cool to see because other MLS teams should be doing the same way.
So he found out from the coaches the day after the Tigres, but his family, he didn't tell his family at all that he wasn't he was starting.
That's funny.
He let them find out on his Instagram when the lineup got shared. Which, that was, it's hilarious. It's actually funny that, he did that, but
right.
Taha is also the first Crew player that has literally came up through the academy, next pro, and now first team.
Yeah.
Columbus has had, Aiden Morris and Sean Zawatsky and, Jason.
Yeah.
Mo, Patrick, all come from like next pro. And come through that pipeline. And Sean and Aiden, I think, came from the academy as well. To next pro. Yeah, well, from academy to the first team and then played some next pro. But
I mean, this guy was an MLS Next All-Star, right? So he has talent, right? So it's something where he just needs the opportunity to shine, and it looks like he did a good job. Here's something that MLS actually put out: 18 years old and 68 days old. Taha becomes the second youngest player in club history, like I was saying, for the Columbus Crew to start a regular season match. So the first was Danny Ciazla at 17 years old and 107 days. So that's saying a lot. If Nancy has the trust in you to start a league match, and especially on a MLS Cup champion reigning team, right? This is not the San Jose Earthquakes we're talking about. No, no harm there, no disrespect, but this is a legit team, so it's something to be very proud of if you're a Columbus fan. And shoot, you guys have another superstar in here. It's pretty cool.
Hey, I mean, I've been waiting for people to finally see him on a first team level because the kid has talent. We saw on his speed and his agility, and having that pair of him, Sean Zawatsky, and Aiden Morris on Saturday against Real Salt Lake. We talked with Sean Zawatsky today, and I asked him about his take on how much he was helping Taha out there and what he saw Taha needed to work on and things like that while he was out there. And then he just was it was like, honestly, he played a great game.
Yeah.
It just there's just some minor things that he needs to tweak and work on, but having a guy like Aiden Morris, right
who eventually is going to try themselves in Europe, right? So
we don't know when, but Crew fans are holding out that wait till after the season, if he decides to go. But just another player that's almost like a Darlington Nagbe-esque, right? Just helping out a young star like Taha.
Right.
So nonetheless, Crew get a point on the road. I think, walking out of there with a point, considering, all the miles, the frequent flyer miles that they've had, in the last like 2 to 3 weeks is insane.
Yeah.
Get home, get the point, and get some rest.
Right.
So that is that. We're going to touch on real quick. Speaking of Coach Nazi, he just got a new contract extension.
Nice little bag of money.
I don't know which bank that they gave him, but it didn't say exactly how many years he got extended for. It just was left blank, so it's almost like the movie Blank Check. Like, hey, we don't know how long he's going to be here, but he got an extension. What does that mean for Columbus?
It means the world. I mean, you guys were a good team, before he got here, but the way this Columbus crew is playing is something that I think mirrors a team in Europe, right? I mean, this team plays so well. They pass so well. They play collectively. This is the first time I've ever seen. I mean, I went to the MLS Cup final, and that was the first time I've ever seen Columbus in person. And I've heard rumors. I've heard people tell me, Columbus plays the most beautiful soccer in MLS. I watched a couple of games. I thought, maybe this is true. And then once I saw it, and I saw Malty kind of hit that to Yaboa, I was like, this team, this coach, I mean, whatever's going on in Columbus is the right juice into the right formula, and we need to go ahead and duplicate it or something, because if you bring a non-soccer fan to a Columbus match, Nancy has this team playing at a level that would entertain anybody. So I truly think that this is actually good for the league in general, that they get to keep their best coaching talent, right? I mean, I was shocked. I honestly saw the news and I was shocked. I thought Nancy was a foot out the door after this season. I thought, shoot, I thought maybe after Copa America, Greg doesn't have a job anymore, Berhalter. So I was thinking maybe Nancy's name gets thrown in there because of what the job he's done in MLS. And then we see maybe a little swap there. Greg goes to Columbus and then Nancy goes to the USMNT. Yeah, this is shocking to me a bit. I was thinking of maybe a Ligue 1 team takes him because of his French that he speaks and everything. So yeah, it's such a good thing that everybody kind of gets to have more of Nancy. That's for sure.
Nancy's not going anywhere. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Nancy's not going anywhere.
Yeah, no, he got his bag, man, and I'm always happy when people get their bag. That's for sure.
I don't even know what the hell you guys are talking about. I just popped in because I can't play Xbox right now. So.
well, look what the crew cat drug in.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What's up, how you doing? Good to see you.
Out here in Vegas, living it up. So,
shoot, that's what's up.
Yeah. I'm supposed to be covering the Las Vegas Lights game tonight.
Oh, okay.
But Josh, the guy who runs the Cup US site,
put
in the credential for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Nah, it's all right. I'm tired anyway. I've been at a convention all week. I'm exhausted.
I bet.
So yeah, we're just touching on Nazi's contract extension. You're absolutely right. It's big for Columbus, but it's also bigger for the league, right? I don't want to say that too loud with FC Cincinnati fans get mad and they hear that, thinking that they could take over the East, but I digress on that one. No, it's actually Connor actually just brought this up too. Columbus is like Real Madrid of MLS.
I can see that. I mean,
really,
like in terms of like a club that everybody should want to be and should strive to be. Yeah, I can see that. Not in terms of Galacticos, not in terms of the spending, but like a club that everybody should look up to and kind of look at the formula. Because I mean, I'm in love with Columbus for their use of their next pro guys. I'm in love with Columbus, their use of the academy, right? I think they're doing a great job. Also, then go getting like a guy like Cucho and Zelarayan to kind of make sure those guys play well. I mean, like, for example, look at San Jose Earthquakes. They have one part of the formula. Their academy is pumping out talent, but they don't have that Cucho Hernandez, or they don't have the Diego Rosis to kind of, uplift those players, and those players don't play to their best ability, and they don't become MLS stars like they do in Columbus, right? They don't become Aiden Morrises, they don't become Schultes or Farsies, right? So no, I think Columbus is it's the kid that every mom in the family says, why aren't you like them? So you guys have it good in Ohio, that's for sure.
Question for you. Do you think Columbus has earned the title of a team that needs to be respected?
Yeah. We touched base a little bit about that because of what they did to Tigres. I think Monterrey is on a really, really big high right now because they just knocked out the Ballon d'Or winner. But I think they should be respected, and I think Monterrey and the fans in Monterrey are gonna be a little more scared, I think, this time around when playing against Columbus because they're maybe slating them as the underdogs a little bit.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So Fabian, the next one we're talking, MLS is set to start the 3 new competition initiatives, and you've been diving into MLS's new initiatives, so you know a little bit more about it. They're taking the formula from
Next Pro. Yeah, so go
ahead.
Yeah, so they trialed it in Next Pro. So the first one is an off-field treatment rule, right? So that states an injured player who is down for more than 15 seconds must stay off the field for a minimum of 2 minutes to receive treatment. So yeah, let's do it. Let's get on with the game. I'm sick and tired of these 13 plus added on minutes, 9 minutes. Let's just get on with the game. And I think all three of us as credentialed media can appreciate the game ending when it's supposed to end, and then you have your coaches and your media after availabilities done faster, right? So shoot, yeah, play the game, get on with it. So the second will be time substitution. Subs will have 10 seconds to get off the field. To do so in the allotted time, the incoming player must wait 60 seconds while their player is a man down, or else they kind of wait. Yeah, I love it. I think another. I mean, this might bite us because our teams can't CONCACAF then, right? When they play into Champions League. So as long as they understand, they're not like the 49ers where they kind of mess up that coin toss and they understand the rules going into it. Yeah, that's a good one too. And then finally, in stadium VAR announcements, meaning the referee will announce and explain all VAR decisions. Perfect. I think that's gonna be 10 seconds or 15 seconds of the time. But everybody here probably watches NFL. You guys are in Ohio, right? You guys have great teams out there. Joe Burr. Yeah,
I'm a Finns fan, so I mean,
yeah.
the Browns are okay. The Bengals are decent, but
yeah. My brother-in-law's from he's from Columbus, so I always hear Ohio State, so I always think football. I think Ohio, right? Yeah. So
He's a Gator fan as well.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, in the NFL, they always announce it, right? So what's 5-10 seconds? Nothing.
I think with the 3 initiatives, I think the one that Sean Zawatsky actually said something about that too. Maybe it should be more, it should be maybe a little bit longer than 10 seconds, because if you're getting, playing, 70 minutes, right, and you're tired, that 10 seconds is going to, turn into 20 seconds real quick, especially if like you're, middle of the field, but close to not close to the goal, but you're like in the middle of the field. You're tired, you're cramping. It's going to be hard for you to jog off in 10 seconds.
It's almost like they have to pay attention a little more who's coming in and out, right? Like, let's say Mo plays 70 minutes and he knows he's only playing 70. I think that conversation is going to happen a little more on the inside to make sure that they don't play down, a man for 60 seconds, right? So, yeah, I can see that, though. I can see where guys get tired, but they can go out any part of the field. But in the middle of the field would suck, yeah.
The off-field. Go ahead, Ty.
Do you think with the implementation of the VAR announcements that VAR time will be cut down a little bit?
Yeah, because then they're gonna have to explain 3 minutes of watching this screen, right? So yeah, that's a good point. I think so too. And they don't, and refs, they have an ego too. Like they don't want to look dumb. So I think maybe it's gonna be a quicker VAR. I think it's gonna be a quicker VAR decision, and then to not explain things all the way, they're just gonna probably do it quickly, make a decision quickly. That's a good point too. I didn't think about that.
The numbers that came in from Next Pro about the off-field treatment, it's seen that games are 99% being completed on time. With that, with that rule, like if you're down for that and the trainer has to come out, you're off the field, for the 2 minutes. So it's seeing, the game, continuous play.
Right.
So I think it's gonna take adjustment for some teams in, on the first team to, get used to it. But I think that's also going to speed up the game, almost like what the pitch clock does for Major League Baseball now.
Yeah. Yeah, and Americans, with TikTok and Instagram and everything, they don't have the patience anymore. And I have watched soccer games with people that don't watch soccer, and then all of a sudden they say, "Oh, all soccer players flop" when they're doing the magic spray on them, right? So avoiding those things is going to bring new fans, and I'm totally for it. My whole thing is always bringing in new fans and bringing in new people to soccer, and this is, in my opinion, these 3 things are going to help new fans come in.
Well, I think Columbus gets to the Club World Cup, I think that'll bring some more new fans in here.
You know what? I do think that these, maybe not so strict, but these rules are coming to the World Cup too. I mean, Infantino was at the MLS board meeting. I think all eyes are on MLS nowadays. So I think we're kind of like the VAR. VAR was our kind of we were the guinea pig, right? So I think the same thing goes with these rules. I think I don't know why FIFA announced the blue card, because no league has ever tried it, right? But this is something where you can actually see results, and like you just brought up, the MLS Next Pro stuff. Yeah, everybody wants games to end on time. I mean, yeah, it's fun when you have 13 minutes of extra added time and then you tie it up, but it's not fun when you're defending it, right?
Give me that sin bin.
On an unrelated topic, really quick. I don't know how much you know about this, Fabian. So, if I saw something, if Monterrey wins the Champions Cup,
yeah,
Philadelphia Union gets a place in the Club World Cup.
Yeah. So I noticed that too.
How was that possible? Do you know?
Yeah. So I saw this, and I saw like a whole bunch of Philly fans kind of just like rooting for Monterrey, and I'm just like, oh, maybe they just don't like Messi. But then I looked up Jose. Shout out Jose. He's a reporter and a journalist for the Union. I saw him kind of write about it, and then I DM'd him. I was like, hey man, so like, how does this work out? So Philadelphia has had the most points in the last 4 years per season. So they automatically get kind of like a nod if Monterrey wins, because Monterrey already won in 2021. So it's like, since they have the highest average per season in MLS, they get to go to CONCACAF Champions, or the World Cup, right? They get to go to the Club World Cup. So there is 2, in my opinion, MLS teams in this still. I think we're going to have an MLS team in the final no matter what, right? Because if Monterrey wins, we get to see it, Philadelphia in the Club World Cup. So it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. So, and they were saying it all over the broadcast too. So it wasn't just like I heard it on the broadcast first, and I was like, "Wait, what? Doesn't make sense." But I was watching on TUDN. I was watching in Spanish, and I verified it with Jose. He's an awesome guy out there in Philly. But yeah, I was like, "What? This makes no sense." But yeah, it was because they have the most points over the 4-year span of the kind of tournament.
So is that points in the tournament itself, or is that points accumulated over the season and into the Champions Cup?
Yeah, I think it's points over the season. So I mean, Philadelphia's always been in the thick of things, right? So I think they get that nod. But then I also saw that maybe they're going to give the host country one team. And there's rumors that that team, whoever wins this MLS Cup, is going to be that team as well. So I saw a lot of Inter Miami fans say, who cares about CONCACAF after they lost? They got annihilated in Monterrey. They were like, who cares about it? We're just going to win MLS Cup and we're going to go ahead and get the nod anyway. So I guess the same goes for Columbus, right? If Columbus loses this and they win MLS Cup again, they go back to back, they have a chance of going to the Club World Cup too. So that Columbus winning was nice, but Miami losing was not so nice. But it's still okay because I guess we get these random Club World Cup nods. But I don't know. I really don't know. It's funny. It's definitely funny because I was seeing it pop up on Twitter and I was like, what are these guys talking about? Like, even I didn't know, right? So it was something interesting to look into.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was okay. Wow. I had no idea.
So now back to our regularly scheduled program. We are now Columbus now turns their attention to the Portland Timbers. And Ty knows it. I know it. The history between Portland and Columbus is, to be polite, it's a rocky one. Ty, it was what, the 15 MLS Cup?
We shall not speak of that dreadful day on December 6th of 2015.
So the history between the two clubs, I think is big. But now Columbus is about to be taking on Evander and Chara, right?
Yeah. Evander is, if not the MVP candidate, he's becoming one pretty quickly. He's had golazos in the last 2 weeks. He's a guy who I talked to at the beginning of Goldchella, and he was saying that he wants this year to be an MVP season for him, and he's doing it.
I mean, when it's really only pretty much him, because I think they were trying to get Club America's guy.
They did. They got Cabecita. They got Jonathan Rodriguez. So that team, he's a pretty good team. I mean, they got really, really shirt up on the defensive side with Cropeau and also Kamal Miller, a guy who I thought was really underrated for Inter Miami. It's kind of evident now too because they leak goals like crazy. I mean, I think their defense is a lot better and their offense is a lot better too. So this is a brand new Portland team that should be in the playoffs, in my opinion.
So now Portland's coming into Columbus without Maxime Cropeau.
Right.
With with the red card, which I feel it wasn't a red card, but
I don't even know what happened. I saw it. I heard it was two things. I saw one, he took down Bouanga. I saw another one, it was a handball outside the box. I don't know what it is, honestly.
So it was a takedown of Bouanga, but it was one of those where Cropeau got the ball and Bouanga honestly flopped. But had it been more in the box, it would have been a PK. But it was just outside of the box. So they gave him a dog so red for it.
That by letter of the law, that is red.
Yeah, but it was one of those where
it was harsh.
It wasn't even really harsh though. Like his studs were down, honestly. His studs were down, like they weren't exposed. Well, from the angle I saw, it wasn't exposed, and it was like he had already committed before Bouanga, because Bouanga was coming with the ball, and he wasn't even, on the ball when it happened. It just was, the follow through, and yes, it's the letter of the law, but I think it should have been a yellow.
Yeah, I think, like you said earlier, because it was outside of the box, he's technically the last defender, right? So it's like, I guess you're impeding on a goal scoring chance. But what's funny is that Cropeau used to translate for Bouanga after the game with the media. So it's just funny to see that as rivals, you know, he took him down. They probably talked about that, but yeah, Capro used to be the translator for Bouanga, and it's funny to see like them going head to head like that instead of being on the same team.
So they come in, Portland comes in now without Crepeau, you know, between the sticks, right? Into a hostile lower.com. Now, you were there for the MLS Cup.
Yeah.
That was 20,000 plus. That's like that damn near every game, you know, the crew play at home. How does Portland, without their star keeper, be able to stop the stars of like Cucho, Rossi, you know, Max, Mo, Aiden, Darlington?
Do they play though? Do they get more rest, right? Because you have some games coming up the next week, right? So that's the biggest question mark. Who's gonna play? Who's playing a little bit? Is it that important this game, right? Do you rest them again? Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be tough. I think if I was looking at Columbus's last kind of games in MLS, and they've tied the last 4 games, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe Nancy plays for the tie again, right? Maybe he takes the ties for now while you're still on CONCACAF, and then you give it your all. And I know players always say like, "Oh, it's one game at a time. We're looking forward to this game Saturday." That's a lie. This game in Monterrey or against Monterrey is the game that's on their mind. You know, this might be a trap game, right? It looks too good to be true that they're without Crepeau, and it might be a trap game. So I think if you're a Columbus fan, you're happy with the draw. I think if you rest guys and you get a draw, you're happy with it, no matter who's in the sticks for Portland.
But that's also a thing though too though, like they have 3 home games before they go back on the road, and they have a bye, almost like a bye week before they go back to, you know, Monterrey, right? So It's like, do you know, it's one of those Nazi has to make that decision to bring, you know, do you still keep the starters off, but also worry about muscle fatigue, right? You know, being, you know, not playing for a couple games could start setting into, you know, the muscles getting heavy, right? So you want to keep them active. So I think the full first team, you know, Darlington, I think Patrick, I think, you know, Cucho, Rossi, all the main starters will get the nod for against Portland, especially just to keep up with points in the East right now. Right?
Yeah, no, Schulte's going to be out there. That's for sure. I mean, if you're a goalkeeper, you don't need too much rest, right? I could see a guy like Nagby maybe playing 45. I could see kind of like Cucho playing maybe 60, right? Rossi playing 60. I do see those players coming off though, or a little earlier than normal if they never come off.
Ty?
Sorry. I think 60 is a bit too generous.
Yeah, right.
You know, it only because it's such a quick turnaround from a Saturday to a Wednesday. But I think knowing how this team trains, and I got to talk to the head athletic trainer, fitness coach, before MLS Cup. Knowing how this team trains at the beginning of the week, I think that seeing Rossi and Cucho go 60, they could honestly go 90. Still play a full 90 against Monterrey on Wednesday, just knowing how they train at the beginning of the week, right? And I think also, as you put it, it doesn't matter who's between the sticks for Portland. It's still going to be a tough test because Portland is a whole different team now under Phil Neville than they were under Giovanni Savarese, right? So I think with Evander being the star-studded player that he is, all the focus can't be on him because then you still have Dairon Asprilla, you still have Diego Chara, you still have who's the striker that they have?
Jonathan Rodriguez.
Yeah. And then you still have I can't remember the other guy's name.
Felipe
Yeah. Yep. You still have those guys to worry about, but I think with Cucho being suspended, I think that kind of helped not really helped, but I think that was a good thing because we wouldn't want him to possibly pick up a red or some sort of silly suspension against Real Salt Lake. Sitting Nagby, I think, was a smart move because he played 120 against Tigres. Sitting Schulte was very smart because he played 120. So with the freshness that these guys are going to have, I think seeing Cucho and Rossi, Nagby, I see them going a full 90 and then possibly playing a full 90 again. But I don't know if Columbus can pull out a win against Portland. It's more so of can Columbus kind of just contain the Portland attack. And as Gerald likes to always say in his key to the game, just keep playing the way that they're playing.
Hey, I mean, it's hard when you ask me that every week to find something that Columbus needs to a key to the game that they need to work on. It's hard because, like Tom has said, like other people have said, Columbus plays the most exciting and beautiful game. So, I mean, there's really like, how can you pick that apart? Okay, maybe, work on less, unnecessary turnovers, right? That's about it. I mean, it's hard to pick a specific thing when everything they're doing is like directing, an orchestra. So yeah. So speaking of keys of the game, Fabian, what's your keys for a Columbus win?
Yeah, look, the keys for the Columbus win is I think a win is nobody injured. To be honest, I think as long as guys don't go into challenges crazy and maybe get some guys some more minutes, like you were saying, Taha and Max, give them some more minutes, maybe get them a little battle tested. Bring some guys off the bench. I truly think that could be a key to the game. Getting those guys ready to go if they need to go in Tigres or into Monterrey. Aiden Morris kind of getting into the thick of things again. You gotta get those guys back in. But I think the keys of the game is don't get injured. This game is important, yes, but what's really important is the game against Monterrey.
Ty?
I'm intrigued to see the lineup, honestly.
Yeah.
Because as I said before, seeing Cucho, Rossi, and everybody go 90, that's kind of what it's going to be, right? But for a heavy matchup against Monterrey at home, you kind of want to go with the same lineup that you went up against with RSL, with Real Salt Lake. So in that sense, for my key to the game is the fitness, right? So a lot of it is the training that they do, but I think with the guys, they had a whole week off. They're gonna have essentially a couple of days off, but the key is just staying fit, right? If Monterrey is at the forefront of their mind, and a lot of times Nancy and players, I know like it's one game at a time. But if I'm the crew, I'm looking ahead. I kind of want to save all my energy for Monterrey because I want to ball out. I want to show CONCACAF, I want to show MLS that we're not here to fuck around, and be made fun of, right? The reputation of an entire league rests on the shoulders of Patrick Schulte, the 3 defense, the 4 midfield, the 2 attacking mids, and Cucho Hernandez, right? it rests on us to kind of show that MLS is an up and rising league, and we can compete with Liga MX and show that we mean business. So I think the key to this game is stay fit. Don't do stupid stuff. If it's a serious injury, that's out of the picture because that obviously has to be a priority first. But just dictate the game how you dictated against RSL, and let's go against Monterrey at home with a ball-out performance.
So Monterrey with Vasquez, Columbus sort of owns Vasquez for, a couple years now. So now coming from the Portland preview to one of the best times of the show is we are getting into predictions. So for all you out there that like to do some online gambling,
Fabian, go ahead and call 1-800-GAMBLER for Gerald Lucas for me, please.
I got you. Hey, we got a problem.
You can pull up your FanDuel, BetMGM, DraftKings, whatever you like. And
yeah, I hope you looked at one of my articles at least when I was writing for Forbes Betting.
Which one?
Which one?
I had a whole bunch of Leagues Cups, a whole bunch of Leagues Cup articles up last year when I was with Forbes Betting. I might have some more coming this year, but yeah, I didn't know you were better like that.
I mean, 10-cent, parlay tickets.
Yeah.
10 cent parlay tickets that could possibly win like $17,000-$18,000.
Actually, more than that. Depending on whatever.
You can't get high off your own supply, right? So I was like, I can't be betting like that,
Right.
So we're kicking off Saturday, the 7:30 game. First one, Montreal versus Orlando City. Fabian, who you got?
Montreal's at home, right? Yeah. So
yeah,
I don't know. I like them right now. I think I'm gonna take Montreal on that one. I think they're on a hot start. I like the way Courtois is kind of making that team play. Josef Martinez really wants to probably get another goal to pass up the next person on that list. So yeah, I got Montreal kind of coming out the gate strong against Orlando there.
Ty?
Man. Montreal beating Cincinnati was a big, big plus. Not only for Columbus fans and whatnot, but it's for the standings also. Yeah. Orlando, huge game winner from Duncan McGuire against DC United last week. They're riding high. I kind of see this one going out in a draw. I'm not even going to put a score on it.
You're going to go with the draw?
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat as Fabian. Laurent, happy legend. Corner flag, kicker. He's had Cincinnati's number. Well, Cincinnati too, right? So, I mean, he knows what when it came to Columbus, what FC Cincinnati versus Columbus meant. The hell is real, right? Taking that mentality, taking pretty much the same style Laurent or Nazi was teaching both Crew 2 and the Academy, and bringing that back to Montreal where Nazi came from. The team is starting to come alive, right? Knocking off Cincinnati last week, I think Montreal gets it against Orlando City. Next up at 7:30, DC United versus the Pigeons at NYC.
And DC?
It's in New York.
Oh, in New York.
At Yankee Stadium.
You know what, man? They have a way of finding goals at that stadium at New York City. I think I like DC this year. I think they're doing way better than anybody expected. I think Benteke is putting that team on their back, on his back. But I do think it's going to be a tie there. I don't think either team's going to win.
Tie?
What the fuck? That's so cool. Who do we say? DC, New York City?
Yeah.
Man, Benteke is so good.
Yeah.
Man, New York is kind of, I want to say, a sleeper almost, maybe an underdog, pretty much.
They're actually favored at plus 105.
New
Oh,
York,
Yeah,
then take that DC bet. No, I was kidding.
yeah,
they're
yeah.
at plus 230.
Ooh.
What,
Ooh.
what's the spread? What's the spread?
No spread.
I might take that myself. You know how I was saying I don't bet. You know,
I mean, if
yeah, no spread.
no spread, it's so weird. Oh man, I don't know. Give me DC. I like Benteke. I like Santos. Yeah, give me DC.
yeah, I think Benteke is going to get his, but the question is, can they get enough from others? Right.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the biggest thing.
I mean, it's the house that Bay built that they're playing in, Yankee Stadium. A draw was at plus 250. That's what I'm leaning for.
That's not bad either.
Nah. Going to, considering, NYC is a sort of a sleeper team, but when you're playing at, Yankee Stadium, anything is possible, right? Next up, Toronto FC versus New England Revolution in Toronto.
Oh, there is no spread. Damn, that's big.
I think New England needs to get some points. I don't think Toronto has been playing up to their standard without the Italian boys. I think this is a tie. Or, yeah, I would say tie. We're looking at possibly another 0-0, maybe a wooden spoon kind of game here.
Yeah, tie.
Well, Caleb Porter lived up to his promise about getting a win against Charlotte.
Barely.
Yeah, but he also didn't live up to his hype about Columbus making the playoffs when he bet his house.
Jesus.
They're in Toronto. I think this is a draw. New England is hot garbage. I'm sorry, but Toronto, as Fabian said, they haven't been playing well without the Italian mafia there. So, I think it's a minimal 1-1 draw.
I'm going with the draw as well. As Toronto just doesn't have anybody else honestly but Insigne. There's been
The Bernadeschi, you're forgetting Bernadeschi,
but he hasn't scored like Insigne has. Bernadeschi, he's a threat on the corner kicks. He's a threat on the corner kicks, and on set pieces. But when you're talking about in the final third, who do you call? Not Ghostbusters. You call Insigne, right? So, I mean, I just, until he comes back or they decide to, John Herdman convinces the front office to go out and spend some more money to bring somebody else in to help out on the attack, I think this one, is a draw as well.
What's up, Edgar? Oh, this is strong. Holy shit.
Oh, Lord. Here we go.
Drink margaritas.
Next up from Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Atlanta United versus FC Kentucky.
Is Gigi back? Does anybody know?
GG.
I could check. I don't think he's back. He might be, or might be questionable.
Fabian, do you know?
Gigi Giamakis?
Yeah.
I know he wasn't playing, but I would assume they might rest him a little more because they did go out and get Danny Rios. So I think maybe if he's not 100%, he doesn't play, but we'll see.
I'll start this one. I think with Cincinnati losing to Montreal, that kind of left a sour taste in their mouth. However, I don't know how Atlanta's been doing without Gigi, but they are in the Benz. So I'm gonna go cliche here. I'm probably gonna go Cincinnati 2-1.
I mean, Cincinnati's plus 200. Atlanta is coming up off of, from what I heard from our friends down there at the Scarves and Stripes, a disappointing game against Philadelphia, giving up 2 goals and only walking away with a point. But like you said, also, you're in the Mercedes, right?
Honestly, I'm gonna take Atlanta on this one. I think Almada needs to show up. This is a perfect opportunity. Giamakis at the Benz. You get to a staple game over Acosta, 2 Argentinian 10s going at it. I think this has written all over it. Almada finally showing up this season.
I'm going with Atlanta as well. I still don't like FC Kentucky. Next up, down at, it's no longer Drive Pink Stadium, at 7:30, Inter Miami versus Nashville. Fabian?
Yeah, I'm slamming Inter Miami.
Slam $20 minus 170 on Miami. Messi anytime goal scorer.
Yeah, really though. I throw 5 on it,
Give me $15.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Throw Suarez goal scorer and Messi and then parlay those, right?
Parlay those with a poop in the shower, just like Sketch.
How many, and throw in how many saves though?
For who?
For who?
For Miami.
Saves.
Oh, Drake Callender?
With all the goals that he's been giving up here recently.
Callender always gets like 1 or 2, like big ones, but I feel like he never gets like the easy ones.
That's true.
Callender just announced that he's gonna be a father, so I'm doing plus 3 saves. All right, this is a baby game.
Give me Miami. Yeah, Miami.
I'm going opposite.
Really?
Miami's minus 250. Nashville's plus 600.
Jesus.
So give me the Nashville. I think, there's a lot of bitter, bad, not going to really say bad blood between these two teams, but this is starting to turn into like a little, somewhat of a rivalry. They've played each other in Leagues Cup. They've played each other now in CONCACAF, right? Jesus, Ty.
My bad. Rita got me, bro.
So I just think Nashville gets it done in Miami.
Okay.
All righty. Then the first game at 8:30. Sporting Kansas City versus St. Louis is at Sporting Kansas City. Ty?
Man. How KC is the favorites is beyond me, but I can understand why. St. Louis, I haven't really seen too much of them. I think, going from 72,000 plus to back to, what's their stadium hold, like 25,000?
Yeah, around there, 23, 24.
Going back to like 23,000, 24,000, whatever. I kind of want to see St. Louis ruin the party, so I'm kind of want to go St. Louis.
Fabian?
Yeah, for me, it's gonna depend on. That's true. That comment that you put up, Nashville's everybody's rival. It depends on if Polito plays. If Polito plays, I got KC. If Polito doesn't play, I got St. Louis. Polito is a difference maker in this league. Makes everybody around him better for sure.
Yeah.
KC is favored minus 135. St. Louis is plus 310. I think, St. Louis they've sort of hit the sophomore slump, right? Having a great first year last year. This year, the magic that they've had at the first part of the season last year is not there this year. However, when you have two teams or two cities that are saying that they're the soccer capital of the world battling back and forth between St. Louis and Sporting Kansas City, I think I give the edge to St. Louis.
Yeah.
Because like you said, if Polito doesn't play, they're missing a huge cog in their wheel, right?
Yeah. Huge.
Next up at 8:30, down at Shell Stadium, Houston Dynamo take on the Barcodes of Austin. Fabian?
Yeah, if Ache is back, which is something that's possible, I would take Houston. If not, I think Driussi is on a tear. I think he can, it's in Austin.
It's in Houston.
In Houston. No, you know what? I'm going to go Austin. I think Austin might pull up a little bit of an upset here. I think Austin needs a couple of wins, and they're kind of riding high right now.
I saw Hector Herrera's back in training.
Yeah, that's what I saw too
for Houston. I don't know what the status of him is. I'll go this way. If Hector Herrera makes an appearance, not say he doesn't start, but he makes an appearance, I can probably say Houston escapes with a draw. However, if he doesn't play, if he's not on the matchday roster, give me Giassi Zardes brace and an Austin FC 2-0 win.
Jossie hasn't been starting though. He's been coming off the bench.
Who says you need to start to get a brace?
Yeah, I agree.
We're talking about Austin, for God's sake.
Austin, yeah.
Hey, they won back-to-back home games just 1 week removed. So
Austin is a huge underdog. They're at plus 380. Houston's at minus 145.
I might take the Austin bet just for the odds, to be honest. I think that's juicy.
Yeah, a draw is plus 280.
I'm smashing Austin right now.
I almost, just because of, the odds, as much as I don't like, Lord Voldemort of Austin, if Hector Herrera doesn't make an appearance or get any type of playing time, I don't think Houston gets away with it. Next up,
it's Driussi.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Driussi's on a little tear right now.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
Copa Tejas.
Still, without star Hector Herrera.
Haven't they played already one time this season in Austin? Or was that FC Dallas?
That's Dallas.
That was Dallas.
Next up at 8:30, coming from Soldier Field, it is Chicago Fire versus Real Salt Lake. Ty?
Oh, man. Salt Lake, they absolutely deserve to win against Columbus. Because I don't think Columbus played that well. So how we escape with the draw is beyond me. I'm happy with it, though. Chicago, on the other hand, I think Hugo Kuipers is starting to find his groove. I also think is Shaqiri out, or what the hell's up with him? He's not.
Shaqiri started last week.
Yeah, I just haven't heard a lot of him in these past weeks. I think Hugo Kuipers is starting to find his stride. So I'm probably gonna go Chicago. I'm gonna go Chicago 1-0.
Fabian.
I think RSL's out here looking for revenge. I think RSL gets the job done, and Chicago looks like an easy target. That's for sure.
I'm going with the draw.
Okay.
All right, so we split.
Yeah, I mean it's Soldier
It's
Field.
MLS, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Soldier's Field is one of those fields. It's rough to play out. It is turf. I mean, it's in favor of Chicago because they're constantly playing there, but I just don't see. I see a draw, because Real Salt Lake is coming off of, they honestly should have beat Columbus. We talked about it earlier though, Fabian. Chicho should have had a hat trick at least in that game, with all the chances he was getting. Nonetheless, I think Kuipers versus Chicho is going to be the show, the main attraction. Who could put it in the back first, right? I just like a draw out of this one. First game at 9:30 is from Dick's Sporting Goods Field. Colorado Rapids versus FC Dallas. Fabian?
Yeah, Colorado just skunked the Earthquakes 3-0 in PayPal Park. So I think after the Miami game and after the Quakes game, Colorado's pretty high right now. This is I don't know. I think I'm gonna take Colorado no matter what.
You're taking Colorado?
Yeah.
Ty? Oh my god. Sorry, I just saw who our official was on Saturday. No. Who was this? This is Colorado and who?
FC Dallas.
Yeah, dude. Colorado, what was that? Was it 3-2 over LAFC the week before?
Yep.
And then their win over Give me Colorado on this one.
I think they tied Miami, right? Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, when Messi came back, the first game he came back, they tied in Miami.
Was that after the LAFC game?
I think it was before. All right, yeah, I think it was after. I'm sorry, after.
Okay, gotcha. So what is that? What, 6 points out of 9?
7 out of 9.
That's 7 out of 9 out of their last 3. That's pretty impressive. So give me Colorado.
And then 2 on the road, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going with Colorado. Dallas has been plagued with injuries.
Yeah.
So, and they're traveling up to the Rocky Mountains. So, yeah, give me Colorado. Next up, 10:30, live from Seattle, is the Sounders versus the Whitecaps, of Vancouver.
I like this one. I like it as a little trap game for Seattle to take this W. De La Vega was practicing. So if we see De La Vega come back, this might be a trap game for Vancouver. Vancouver, yes, they do have the most goals differential, and yes, they're playing very good. But this is MLS, right? Any given night, you can take a loss, especially on the road. Or are they at home?
Seattle's at home.
Yeah, especially on the road for Vancouver, you might have a hard time.
Ty?
Man, Seattle's normally like straight here. I think they've been kind of here their last few. Vancouver, man, I kind of want to see Vancouver take this. Honestly, I like Vancouver and what they're doing up there now that Sartini's back. I think he's probably the most comedic coach in MLS. Honestly, he's hilarious. But I think Seattle needs more out of Jordan Morris. I think they need more out of Rui Diaz and Who's the?
Hold on.
Yes, thank you. I was about to say Nicola Darrow, but he's with Orlando.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need more out of those guys. And Stefan Fry, he's still starting, right? Or is he?
He was injured at the beginning of the year. I'm not sure if he played last game, but I would have to double check.
Give me Vancouver.
Yeah, I'm taking Vancouver too. I just Seattle's been on a seesaw of a year. It's not the Seattle that we've grown accustomed to seeing. Give me Vancouver in this one. Next up at 10:30, LAFC versus the Red Bulls.
Good game.
LAFC is favored minus 125 versus Red Bulls plus 300.
I kind of like those odds for the Red Bulls, but I think it's going to be a tie. I think we're going to see a 2-2 tie.
I kind of back that. Give me 2-2 draw.
I can almost see the draw, but at the same time, LAFC hasn't done good against the press. And Red Bulls, they love to play have that high press. And quite frankly, LAFC's not been the LAFC that we've seen the last couple of years.
David, is that your main team that you cover, LAFC?
No, I cover all teams now, but I would say the main team that I cover is probably Miami, to be honest with you. Because, with 90 minutes, it's connected to the kind of worldwide. So it's whatever. Columbus, I'm trying to do a little more, at least to the global scale, But yeah, I would like to cover LAFC more and the Galaxy more, but it's just, Miami's kind of stealing everybody's attention.
Fair enough.
Yeah. That's I wait till we win CONCACAF. Give me the Rebels, man. Red Bulls are having a strong season, honestly. Other than losing 2-0 to Columbus, here at Lower Dicom Field. I think they go into LAFC and walk out with the winner. Sunday's matchup at 6 p.m. live from Bank of America Stadium. You got Charlotte FC taking on Minnesota United. Fabian?
I'm going to take a draw on this one. I haven't seen something out of either team to think one team's going to power it over the other. So,
Ty?
Reynoso is causing so much trouble with Minnesota United right now. He is putting them in a negative limelight. I was kind of impressed with what Michael Boxall said about what he said about Reynoso. He shows that he doesn't care about the club. I think with everything surrounding Cam and the distractions, Minnesota United is just it's definitely not going to go their way. Give me Charlotte 3-1.
Charlotte 3-1.
Yeah, and Edgar's right. They are very effective at home.
Charlotte does play better at home than they do away. But I also like some of the other players that Minnesota United has. Pookie, some of the young players. They still got Will Trapp. Give me a draw, man, honestly.
Ethan Finley.
Uh-huh.
I think they have Ethan Finley.
I thought he was with Austin still.
Oh, okay. Never mind that.
He was with Minnesota. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
It's the only time I know that. Last I went to Minnesota, he scored the game winner against Columbus.
Yeah.
I just think this is a draw, honestly. Next game on Sunday at 8:15, LA Galaxy versus San Jose Quakes.
Galaxy 4-1.
Easy. I had it. That's why I was like, Fabian's just gonna spit it out really quick.
You said 4-1.
Well,
Is that one goal a consolation goal?
yeah, by Benji Kikanovic in the 89th minute. Yep.
Easy. Give me. I'm gonna go one less. Give me 4-0 Galaxy.
4-0 Galaxy.
Give me Ricky Pooch 4 goal contributions.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be cool.
With a hat trick by Panstro.
Yeah. Painstill's been playing pretty well too. I mean, he has the speed to where Ricky can literally just put the ball out there and he'll go get it. So it's like it's wild. I mean, the Quakes don't have a single defender that can keep up with Painstill last time. Nothing's changed. It's even gotten worse maybe for the Quakes. So facing the Galaxy twice this early, the Galaxy being so good with all the brand new talent they had, this is going to be a landslide victory.
I mean, the person that's not getting enough talk too is also Gabriel Peck.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I look for a brace by Pantsill. I take the 4-0.
Yeah, the Galaxy always played the Quakes good last year. It's just they were unhealthy. They weren't fit, right? So now that they're fit, we saw last Cali Classico. It wasn't even close. Quakes just lost 3-0 at home. So this team is in shambles.
Then the heavyweight fight for the weekend. Columbus Crew takes on Portland Timbers at Lower.com Field Saturday at 7:30 p.m. We'll start off with Fabian.
I got a 1-1 draw. I got something where we're playing a little conservative. We'll take the point.
Ty?
Yeah, I can back that. If honestly, I'm not upset if we lose this game also, like 2-1 or 1-0. I'm not upset. We're still doing fine in the East. We're 4th, I think, in the East. But I'm looking forward than this game here. I give me 1-1 draw, at worst 1-0 loss.
I share your sentiments. Both of y'all.
He's going for the win.
I'm trying to keep that home streak going, man. Columbus has not lost a game at home since last year. I forget which game it was at home.
Yeah, our only loss is to Charlotte.
Yeah.
That was a shit-ass game.
Man. But Columbus, at home, 20,000 plus fans in what is a stadium that teams don't like come to play in because of one of the acoustics and 20,000 plus the way that the stadium is designed makes it a hard place for the opposing teams to play in. I mean, you were there, Fabian.
Yeah.
Ty, me and Ty are there almost every weekend or whenever the home games are. It rocks, and the weather's going to be nice too this weekend. It's a 90s party as well. 90s theme. So I do, Egger's sentiment, 2-1. I see a 2-1, could see a 2-1 win. At worst, a 1-1 draw. Now,
by the way, really quick, off topic. Columbus is going to be wearing yellow, black. Portland and all green. Ted Uncle, the referee.
Oh, shit.
That's why I was like, oh, man. That's why I was like laughing. I was like, I just saw who our officials were this week.
With all the bad blood between Portland and Columbus, to have Ted Uncle.
Excuse me.
How many? What? I wish they would put an over under on how many yellows and red cards there will be.
Special teams, special plays, special teams.
So now, Fabian, I was telling you a little bit about this before the show. We get to play the famous yellow card, red card. Now, it does not have to be soccer specific. Your yellow card could be something that you don't like, but you can tolerate it. Your red card is something that you absolutely despise and you cannot stand it.
Ooh, this one's hard. You just put me on the spot. Let's see.
That's how we do. We do it with all our guests. We put them on the spot.
Yeah, let me think. Oh man, I'm trying to think. Yellow card. I'm a pretty easy-go-lucky guy, to be honest. Like, I don't mind. I don't mind a lot of things. Yellow card. Ah, I don't like shopping. That's something weird about me. So yellow card for people that want to go shopping with me. Not a big shopping person. I've never liked it. I'd rather be at a park or something. So if they want to go shopping with me, I have to love them a lot. Okay, I'll do it. Yellow card. Yellow play on.
Are we talking grocery shopping or mall shopping?
Both.
Both. Okay. Well then, all right.
I got accustomed to grocery shopping like the COVID way, right? All on your app, and then you just go pick it up. So. Or Amazon
delivered to you or something like that.
Yeah, or not delivered to me because I'm too broke for that. But I'll go pick them up. It's a little drive,
All right, fair enough.
McDonald's, little ice cream, nothing crazy. Yeah. So I don't like shopping too much, to be honest. I usually buy everything online. Like I'm a big energy drink guy, so I don't want to sit there and pull 20 rock stars out of the fridge. I'd rather just buy the case from Amazon and it gets to my house, so that's just me though. Red card.
Block.
Yeah.
I'm about to block Connor from every fucking thing.
And then red card for me. Being hella tall at a concert and trying to move up to the front. I was just at Coachella and I forgot how tall some people are, and it's just like, oh man, like, come on, bro. Like, you're tall. Come on. What are you doing? Let the smaller people go in front. So that would be a red card for me.
Fair enough. You're based out of California, right?
Yeah. I'm in the Bay Area. So I'm in I'm close to San Francisco. Yeah.
That's right.
Ty, I know you got some.
Not really. I mean, I guess yellow card for getting somewhat of a cold before I came out here to Vegas. My ears are congested. I don't know if I'm yelling, but I feel like I'm yelling because it feels like I'm underwater right now. But I get it happens to the best of us. Red card. I don't really have a red card. I think the biggest red card would have to be just
hotel Wi-Fi.
Yeah, because it kept kicking me off. Yeah, Wi-Fi. Yeah, for sure.
Like, how doesn't everybody have fiber yet? I just got fiber in my house, and man, living life.
Dude, I don't know. It's like it's one of the so I'm at the Excalibur, and it's like when you click on the Wi-Fi, it takes you to the thing. You have to accept the terms and conditions and hit continue.
Oh, that's a red card.
I'm sitting here watching Champions League earlier, and it was working just fine. All of a sudden, I'm on my laptop watching Paramount Plus, watching the game. It's like optimizing video for performance like for 20 minutes. I'm like, dude, I'm missing the entire game. I can't do this. So I end up turning on my phone.
Yeah. You know what? I got you a yellow card here. This is another one I just thought of. Illegally streaming games. Yellow card. Play on. All right. Be careful. Use a VPN. Be a pirate. But play on.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right, Joe.
So I got a yellow card, and it actually is Chipotle.
Whoa.
They messed up my order. The one time I don't use the app to place my order, I tell them extra black beans.
Ew. Right there. That's a walking red card right there.
I gotta start eat healthy, okay? And black beans are healthy for you. Brown rice, lettuce, cheese, and some sour cream with the side of the vinaigrette. I get my bowl, no black beans.
Okay.
I tried calling the Chipotle restaurant so many times. Somebody answered, and I asked to speak to the manager. They was like, yeah, give me 1 second, and then hung the phone up. I call right back, and it's a busy signal. So I said, all right. So I'm out the money there for a minute. Luckily, I got a hold of Chipotle's corporate. I got a refund. Plus, I got some free Chipotle. So, it works out in the end, but I still was hungry as hell. I wanted that Chipotle.
Wait, you didn't eat it because it didn't have black beans?
No, I did eat it, but I wanted the black beans.
You did or you didn't eat it?
I did eat it.
You did, okay.
But it just didn't,
It didn't hit.
No, it didn't. I was sad.
I got that. That's like getting McDonald's and no ketchup.
Oh, yeah. Then my red card is we just had severe thunderstorms come through here today. And the National Weather Advisory, the winds were bad. Like the tornado siren went off in a suburb just west of me. And it, was coming my way. When it got to me, the winds were so bad, you would think that, an F0 could have happened. Or, that there was going to be a tornado somewhere close. All I got was the Citizens app reminder says, hey, severe weather storms in your area, take shelter. And I go outside on the porch of my complex building, and the rain is going sideways with the wind. As the rain is coming down towards the ground, the rain is swirling. Quarter-size hail is hitting my window.
Oof.
And there's no tornado siren, warning like, hey, there's a possibility. So that's annoying. Like if you got the tornado siren going off literally 10 minutes west of you and a storm is coming right through you, don't you think that you should have, kept the sirens going 10 minutes east of where it was already going off? So, I mean, something could have happened, and I have no basement. So I'm just sitting here like, well, fuck it. If a tornado hits my building, I'm going on the Wizard of Oz Express.
Go hide in the bathroom.
In the bathtub, right?
Man,
Yeah.
I cannot fit in that bathtub.
What are you talking about?
Man, I look like the Michelin Man trying to fit into a bathtub. You could have thought I was a big-ass turkey ready for Thanksgiving dinner.
Nah, you're good, man.
It's sitting on the serving platter. Like, if I'm meant to go out in a tornado, shit, I got beer and I got cigarettes. I'm good.
This is a conversation I've never had. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've never had this conversation out here in California.
Oh, well, I mean, we ain't never had no earth. We've had aftershocks here in Ohio, but I mean, y'all got the earthquakes out there.
Luckily, knock on wood, I've never had like a big one.
Really?
So they've all been like 4s or 5s, like nothing crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Japan has them all the time though. When I was out in Japan, they had them all the time. So that was kind of like they have like a whole kind of wall all over their beach, so you really can't see the beach because it's all set up. It's all set up where there's like this wall to block the tsunamis, right? So it's different, right? You never see like beach fronts and stuff.
Well, that was a good show, fellas.
Thank you for having me on, guys. It was a pleasure of mine to be on.
Any final thoughts? Burning desires? Midnight confessions?
Go
Columbus. Personal note, just want to say thank y'all to everybody who sent their condolences for the passing of my grandma. Totally unexpected. But appreciate every single one of y'all. I know I probably did not get back to anybody, if not everybody. So just know your message did not go unseen. So appreciate y'all. Love y'all. I don't know if I'm returning to the beat this week. It might be next week. I don't know. But I am slowly making a comeback to the beat. So yeah, thanks y'all.
Fabian, where can the wonderful fans of the Wisemen Say podcast find you and all your work at?
Yeah, look, I'm the only Fabian that spells it with a V. So just go ahead and look that up. You can find me anywhere, really. If you wanna be on Twitter and see some crazy takes, feel free. So I mean, U.S. Open Cup. I want to say this. I love how everybody's kind of collectively taking U.S. Open Cup in their own hands to try to save the cup. I've seen riders, like for example, Ty, you just told me you were trying to cover the Las Vegas Lights game, and you're normally covering the Crew, right? That's something beautiful to see. Last night I covered El Farolito versus the Oakland Roots. Normally I cover MLS and I cover CONCACAF stuff, so it's something that I usually don't cover. And I love seeing all of the media kind of take this in their own hands. We all kind of make sure, and we're making sure that this kind of tournament is still being taken very seriously. So personally, I want to say, shout out to all the media members out there and all the journalists that are really doing a good job covering this iteration of the U.S. Open Cup, even if there's leagues out there not taking it as seriously as they should.
So were you at that game last night?
I was. Yeah, I was there. You should have saw me. I was like Messi's bodyguard going up and down the sidelines.
So I heard at Oakland Roots games that they do the hot dog throw.
Yeah. So I tweeted out that they were doing the burrito throw. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I saw
was it burritos from what is it, El
Farolito? No, I think it would have got cold at that point, but
that would have been.
You know what? I saw someone post that it was, but then I was like, dude, that's a cold ass burrito. Like there's no way that is that. But what I was thinking is they're from La Victoria, which is a San Jose staple, but they have one close to that stadium. So it's like, they're taking the Earthquakes. Nah, they want the Earthquakes next, huh? So they might even do another burrito toss because the Earthquakes have that kind of as their San Jose food. But yeah, beautiful game. I mean, it was, cool to see El Farolito kind of make it that far. They were gonna be the first team to ever go to the round of 32, but unfortunately they didn't do it. But seeing one of the players score and then go kiss their family, and it was nice to see, definitely.
Yeah, I mean that would have been a true story right there.
Right.
A burrito change is going. Starting up a team and just saying, fuck it, full send it. Right.
Well, I was telling the coach, who's the owner of one of the chains, like, why don't y'all sell jerseys? Like you have the whole nation knowing who you are. Like, sell jerseys at the taquerias. Like, why not? And then also, because they wear yellow, wrap your burritos in yellow. Like, that's something you need to do. Like, you guys are a brand now, and you are, I would say, maybe the most popular or at least famous at the moment brand of burritos in the Bay Area. So definitely, take advantage of that. And he was like, "Oh, I'm going to talk to the board." Like, I was like, "All right, good."
So it comes to an end. All you crew fans out there, catch us out on Spotify. We do have a link out there for the supporters link. If you feel like you want to donate, you can. Every cent that is donated does go directly back to the show for travel, food, room, and board when we go out to some of these away matches. And we do have a merchandise store there too. It's on a pinned tweet on our Twitter page. You could go to the Wiseman Pod and click on the link there and go get you some of the Wisemen Say merch. Wonderful show coming to an end now.
Good job, dude. I'm proud of you. Good job, dude.
You did a great
Stavian, thank you so much for joining, man.
Of course.
Pleasure always talking to you.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing. And hopefully we'll see you back in Columbus for another MLS Cup.
No, I'm actually thinking about making it out there this week, you know? No, I wish. I know it snuck up on me. I was like, oh, man, that's a good game to go, you know? But
you got to come out for Hell is Real.
Yeah, right? That should be a blast. I love
May 11th.
Like I said, my brother-in-law's from there. So even if I'm not from there, I feel like I have some love towards the city. And I love that you guys are having a great kind of moment with that team there. And you guys have 2 stadiums. You guys respect the MLS Next Pro team enough to have their own stadium. And no other team was kind of doing that and under the umbrella. So I do think that the crew organization is head to toe, like one of the best in the business. And they proved it to me when I was there. So I do want to see that organization do well.
That's it for the show. Gerald, good job leading the show while I was trying to figure out this whole Wi-Fi shit. Fabian, thank you so much for joining in. This has been the Wisemen Say podcast, powered by Yama Media, Ty Fisher, alongside Gerald Lucas, Fabian Wrinkle. Gerald, my friend, Asher Dishy goes, Wisemen Say.
Only fools rush in.
Peace out, everybody. Stay safe, stay cool, stay hydrated. Hug your loved ones. Tell them you love them. Go Crew.